Hi friends, how are you doing? We have roughly about 30 days to go for FRM Part 1 exams, and I wanted to kind of make this video and give you a sense on certain things you should keep in mind while preparing for these last 30 days. So the first thing that I wanted to discuss is what should be the general strategy in these last 30 days. So the general strategy should be that about 70 to 80% of your time you should be spending purely on question solving. Solve as many questions as you can. The more questions you practice, higher is going to be the probability for getting through the exams, right? That's the general rule. Now, what questions should you practice? So I've kind of made a list of the questions that I think are really important from an exam perspective. So in order of priority, the most important set of questions that I would recommend are the questions which are given in the FRM handbook authored by Philippe Jain. Now, I don't know if that's a correct pronunciation, but basically this Philippe Jain, he authored this book. It's available on Amazon, so maybe I'll also put a link in the description. And I in fact picked up a sentence written in the beginning of his book, and that sentence says that finally this handbook incorporates latest questions from FRM examinations. Now, if you're a FinTree online subscriber, what we have done is, let me just open up the LMS. So inside your course, you would see this section called Q&A review session, and you would see a series of questions available in this particular book. Now, if you would read this handbook on financial markets and products, so what we've done is we've taken questions which are similar, not same. We made certain modifications, we made adjustments, and we've added a little twist to these questions. And then we have solved all those questions there, and we've put in a lot of practice questions. So on this page, you would find plenty of questions to practice. If you do not have access to FinTree's portal, you can get access to the book and try to practice questions from there. Then the second important resource for you for preparation is the past FRM mock exams. Now, 2018 mock is already available on your portal, and you can easily find the past FRM mock exams on the internet. I would recommend you to get access to them and try to solve as many questions as you can. Now, when you do that, appreciate the fact that FRM curriculum has changed dramatically over the period of time. So some of the questions maybe from 2010 might not be very relevant. So you have to be careful while solving them, but I still recommend they are a good source of preparation, and you keep on practicing. You'd find that many of those questions are repetitive, okay, but it's still worth spending some time on them. Then I'm going to recommend you to practice certain questions from the core readings. So for example, especially practicing questions, end of the chapter questions from the John Hull book, because John Hull constitute both of his books, the main book and the risk management book. It has a big chunk of your FRM Part 1 curriculum, and he provides good quality questions at the end of every chapter. So get access to that book and start practicing them. Now, not all of them are in MCQ pattern. Some of them are MCQ, some of them are descriptive. In fact, most of them are descriptive. We have developed many of those similar questions. Okay, so we have built questions on the similar lines, and those questions are available in the portal. Now, they are not available for all the readings at this moment, but you can practice whatever is already available there. If you're done with all these sources and you still feel you need more practice, then I would recommend also getting access to the CFA practice questions. Now, the curriculum of certain subjects in the CFA program and FRM program is kind of similar. And in fact, I believe that level of difficulty in CFA exams is a little lesser. But nevertheless, they still kind of test you on basic concepts. So you can try to get access to any of these question banks, and you can practice on questions like, for example, you can try CFA level 2 quant, which has good questions on multiple regression and time series. Plus you can try CFA level 2 derivatives, which has really high quality questions on swaps and forwards. So that is recommended. Again, if you have access to the learning management system, you must have noticed that after every reading videos, we have put in questions from CFA exams. Okay, for example, in financial markets and products, let's say go to swaps, and you would see that we've put in a lot of Q&A review questions here from different sources. You can practice them as well. Alright, this is roughly about your practice. After now you've done reasonable amount of practice, it's recommended that you solve at least 3 mock exams full length from 8 to 12. Okay, so determine your dates in advance, and then on those particular dates get your mocks. On the portal we have already uploaded 2 full length mocks, and over the period of next 10-15 days we'll be adding a few more mocks for you, so that you can download them and practice. Now this is roughly about the question solving. A couple of other things that I wanted to run by you is this point. So the strategy should be that in each of the 4 subjects you should be in the first 2 quartiles, right? So spread your studies accordingly, but make sure that you're not ignoring certain subjects, especially book 1, because a lot of candidates spend a lot of time on derivatives and then risk management, which is your book 4, and quant, which has a lot of numericals and concepts, and then they tend to ignore book 1, which is very theory heavy. But if you do good in those 3 subjects, and if you're not doing good in book 1, there is a chance you may not pass. So don't let that happen to yourself. Then the next point I wanted to discuss was, do not give up on easy questions on the exam. Okay, so what do I mean by this? So in general, based on what I have learned from the candidates who take the exams and my personal experience, out of roughly 100 questions, about 50 questions on the exam are going to be relatively straightforward. Do not give up on the easy questions. So make sure that you remember all those basic straightforward calculation questions. Then about 30 questions on the exam would have some sort of a trick. So trick could be something like, let's say there is again a question on Black-Scholes, or maybe let's say there is a question on option binomial pricing, but instead of giving let's say equity, they might give you underlying as in currency, right? So then how do you deal with interest rate in that situation? So some added trick here and there. So again, these 30 questions on the day of exam, if you're thinking fast and if you're thinking sharp, there's a good chance you would get many of them. But there is also a chance that you might get trapped on those tricks and you might not do them right. So the strategy should be that in the first 50, you try to score as much as possible. Next 30, even if you get a success ratio of 50, 60, 70%, that's excellent. And then there could be about few questions on the exam where candidates generally struggle because they might end up asking questions that you might have never seen before, or you might have not thought of before, and then that's where your skill on being able to apply on the spot would be tested. So the strategy is, even if you focus well on this 80 and you attempt those 20 and get some of them right, you still have a very good chance of getting through the exams. Next point is how do you revise? So I wouldn't recommend you to spend a lot of time reading books now. Neither will I recommend you to watch through all the videos one more time. So very smart way to revise for you would be to take a list of all the learning outcomes which would be easily available at the beginning of your notes or books. So take a list of all the learning outcomes, read the learning outcome, and then without looking at what's inside the text, just try to think of what is the content inside. Okay, and then go and check whether what you thought and what was actually there was there, and then give that learning outcome some sort of a star rating. Maybe let's say 1 star to 3 star, 3 star being a little difficult to memorize. And then you do first layer and then give yourself a break and then do a second layer of revision. But next time you revise only the ones that you found 3 star and 2 star, and then convert those 3 stars to 2 and 2 stars to 1. That way you're being forced to revise only on the areas that you're not comfortable with. Now when you're doing this, And even when you're practicing question, it's a good idea to keep a small 30-40 page notebook next to you. And then this notebook is basically your preparation tool a day before the exam. So everything that you think you would want to remember a day before the exam, try to write this in this book. And make sure the size of the notebook is small, because that will discipline you to write only the stuff that's really necessary, so that you would save time writing and you would be able to revise that in a single day. Okay, so that's in general the revision strategy. And then the final point is getting your body used to the time. So we still have healthy 30 days away from the exams. So it's a good idea to get used to the time. And what I mean by that is that you plan your day and your study schedule in such a way that morning 8 to 12 is the most efficient time of the day for you. Right? This is roughly the strategy. If there's anything on your mind, we will be more than happy to help you. You can just put questions in the comments and then I'll try to reply them. So once again, wish you all the best. Enjoy your studies. Have fun.